Kalinaw. I am Jason Menaling of the Pulangiyēn tribe in northern Mindanao, Philippines. I am going to share our concern on extractivism and human rights amidst the climate crisis. I do this coming from the integrity of our culture that has given rise to recognize culture-based education, sustaining peace in our community. Indigenous education from our elders start by teaching young children and youth how to live in relation to the land. Today, we are able to reflect on the challenges in our environment on deeper level. We connect with other communities in the valley through the tradition of Buntola daw Sayuda, or visiting and sharing information. We seek to reach communities far beyond by learning English, so that we may share our knowledge and stories together. This gives the youth opportunity to better appreciate our role in taking care of our gaop or ancestral domain. This is one of the key lessons we learn as we participate in professional courses, focus on peace leadership, agroforestry, and education with the Jesuit worldwide learning. This effort motivates us to stand up for our ancestral domain because our land is our life and livelihood. As we continue to agree change in society, we also feel its adverse impact on land and culture. We've seen many communities suffer from the impact of mining in northeast Mindanao. But the biggest detractor in our area are yellow corn corporate growers and their network of traders and financiers that undercut us and leave us with all the risk. Big companies only look at what they can take from us. They don't think about accompanying us in sustaining the living world where we codependent. They have a very narrow view of life that disregards the welfare of the next generation. This expansive commercial system of farming only look at what we could begin financially. Planting of corn to feed animals and not for a daily consumption of people. We have no faith in corporate agriculture today. There is no justice in the system. It is hard to talk reconciliation over the past wrong when we see our communities being manipulated and divided by outside interests. We need to strengthen our solidarity as communities so that we will not be completely run over by corporate giants and traders. Even if we don't experience flooding or strong typhoons, as much as lowland and seaside communities, we feel the impact of climate change in the upland in different distressing ways that make it evident to us that there are still many gaping holes in a climate response and that there is much that need to be done. It is now difficult for us to predict the planting cycle and plan our farming activities accordingly. We experience a lot of crop damage and loss, pest infestation and drought have been devastating. We know the forests play a great role in maintaining a stable climate, not to mention the microclimate it creates for a local ecosystems. We know the water we drink comes from the forests and fed by the oceans. The youth learn skills in pagdumala sa lubas o sa kagulangan. Assisting natural regeneration for ecosystem restoration that comes from the knowledge of old Sweden follow practices of 10 to 20 years. We express the critical role of indigenous culture in addressing the climate crisis and how youth are at the forefront of leadership in the forest protection. When it comes to human rights, we are grateful that we've been granted legal rights to manage our ancestral land. But beneath this, there is still a prevailing system when those in position of power still have the final say in terms of how we live our life in our land. This undermines our voice because yes, you give us a right in paper, but we don't feel empowered in terms of decision making. We can hold the certificate of ancestral domain title, but after that now comes the question of government controlled protected areas. Look at how this unjustly done, and how institutions beyond us still hold the control. we are left with nothing but a piece of paper. Our way forward is through Pulang. As Pulangiyēn people, we identify with the Pulangi River, but our identity is also rooted in how we value peace. Pulang is our guiding principle as we dialogue about land use practices across Upper Pulangi and in welcoming youth from different communities, our cultural school. This is how we honor the covenant of peace to the present day. There are no threats or domination in the process. In our culture, buntula daw sayuda, allow us visit our neighbor in peace and share what we can. This is our sense of being together. I want to echo this message of being together, especially in this time immobility and distance. Support us in upholding our right to care for the land. We are your best collaborator in safeguarding the future of our planet and ensuring there is equity in the process.